Hey friends, welcome back to Casterly Talk. A little bit of a mini-sode for you. We are having fun catching up on Game of Thrones news. The world of Ice and Fire. Alden, hey, how you doing, buddy? You remember this Game of Thrones thing we love so much?
I do, actually. And I've been thinking about it more and more as of late. Not in an annoying, like, when are we going to get our book way? But there's just something in the air. I think it's longing. Like, I think knowing that there's, like, some, we're not going to talk about set leaks or anything like that, but there have been some glimpses of the Season 3 House of the Dragon production that has me in a mood. There was that game teaser that has me in a mood. I think I'm ready to return to Westeros, but unfortunately I have to wait.
You do have to wait, but one of these things that popped up recently here at the end of July was, I guess we'll say, a little bit of news about this potential, I guess we'll say, spin-off. I guess I'm just guessing what words we say. Aegon The Conqueror, a series about Aegon, his sisters, the dawn of kind of the modern world in Westeros that we all love to crawl around in. 2024 was like the last kind of major update. Things are happening, maybe not, maybe here's what's going. But one of the names associated from that time on has been screenwriter Mattson Tomlin. And last week on the social media platform known as X, Alton, he kind of responded to some questions about the series, said he wrote a lot, said George R. R. Martin is certainly, yes, involved. And that kind of made me think, Alden, wow, crap, this exists. Do you have any reaction to that? And Mattson is a talent behind the series.
Yeah, I also had the oh yeah, it exists reaction, but then also a little bit of but it always existed. Like, this is kind of one of those when they announce spin-offs, Blood Moon gets canceled, House of the Dragon goes into production. There was all these things, many of which are on the shelf now. Sea Snake, E.T., all that stuff. And this one was always there. Is it going to be a movie? Is it going to be a series? And it, had that little bit of hey, it's still breathing, update from the HBO side of things. They're HBO Max again, by the way. I don't know if you...
Oh, okay.
They're back to back. And Warner Brothers and Discovery are now Warner Brothers and Discovery again.
Yep.
So... Yep. Fantastic. Awesome.
And pretty soon there will be 3 network television channels to choose from, and we'll be back to the beginning.
Hell yeah. I can't wait for the Ed Sullivan reboot. And so here we are now with probably the most, I guess, creative piece of news that has come out of this. Yeah. Because network execs and insiders being like, it's happening. That's one thing. But to have someone from the team say, yeah, I have put pen to paper, at least in some way. I've done, quote, lots of work. Is exciting. Mattson Tomlin, for those of you who don't know, was the uncredited co-screenwriter on The Batman, 2022's The Batman with Matt Reeves. And there was another writer on there too, and he did enough writing on there to have a significant impact and enough to get him now actual co-writing credit on The Batman Part 2, which is that script is in, and that's for a whole other show, and they're working on that now. But it was one of those guild situations where he didn't get, his name on the first one because of late in the game or blah, 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 or whatever it is. But he is on team The Batman. And his understanding of the character as a larger-than-life sort of entity is what really has me excited about the man, in that case, behind the mask. But, there's a legend to him. And his take on The Batman with Matt Reeves is very much based in how Bruce Wayne crafts his own mythology and how he gets the city to react to him and how he has to make conscious efforts to switch from fear to hope. And obviously that's not going to be the arc of Aegon the Conqueror. I don't think he's really concerned with inspiring hope, but in the right people, perhaps. And I think that having this approach of somebody that can take a really huge character like Batman, who's had such a long legacy, find new room, find new places to go with them, and create what a lot of us feel is the best Batman film amongst us, like Batman hardcores. I know it's my personal favorite, and I do personally think that it hits all the right notes for me. It's inspiring, I think, to see them giving the power of this character of Aegon the Conqueror to him, because his entire thing is about legend and impact and legacy and how you shape a realm. It's not Gotham City, but it is it's all made in his vision, down to the actual throne being made in his in monument to him physically. So it makes a lot of sense.
You're making me think of Baelish talking about the stories we tell ourselves about that throne, which
Yeah.
book to screen is different, we know, but I like what they're doing with the screen version. This is fantastic. I'm not super familiar with him or his work. I apologize to all fans of the Batman like you. I will one day check it out, but I really like what you're saying. Exactly what you talked about, how Aegon the Conqueror is someone who was writing his own history as it was happening, and also the realm does what it wants with that legend as well. And we are dealing with characters in I'll say present day. This is all this, as far as I know, this is a fake world. But the characters were following along, whether it be House of the Dragon or whether it was in 8 seasons of Game of Thrones, they were dealing with that kind of lore in an active way, right? It still existed. It still had a shadow over so much of what was going on. And so I like that in terms of just the themes. Again, we have no guarantee that he's going to be like, hey, my take on the Batman is also going to be my take on Aegon. But it's similar. It's similar how you describe the tale of Bruce Wayne and Batman and the legend and lore. So that makes me excited for the potential of the series.
Yeah, it's just like, I think that there are writers that even when it's not, the take can't be the same, because of course it can't. There's a shared like analytical thread. Like I think about James Mangold when I think about this conversation, because Johnny Cash and Bob Dylan aren't the same, and neither of them are the same as Wolverine or Indiana Jones. But there's something that he did across all of them that was like, let me take a step back from the enormity of this in all four cases and ask, what is the fallibility of this person? What does it mean to get old with this person? What does it mean to fail with this person? I remember Mangold giving an interview where he talked about doing Walk the Line and having to tell Johnny Cash before he passed away, like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to need to talk about the fact that you were unfaithful to your wife, to your first wife. And I know you've said for years that you weren't and everything. He's like, but we both know you were. And I need to get into it. And so it's like, and that to me feels like something that Tomlin will bring to it in terms of how he analyzes the mistakes and the actual methodology of Bruce could transfer here. It also, looking big picture at HBO's Game of Thrones and Hot D sphere, they haven't actually like branded this. Have you noticed that? They haven't done like just a side thought, but they haven't put a stamp on like what their world is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I kind of like that. Westeros verse is too clumsy.
It's not the ice and fire the Martin verse or whatever they decide it is. House of the Dragon, a Game of Thrones story. They didn't do that either. But it's like that's what House of the Dragon is, right? It's like, let's look at this history, and we know X, Y, and Z happened, but look at these differing accounts. Okay, what if we decide on an answer? It's not the canon answer to the books, which a lot of book purists have had a hard time with. But
they struggle
at times. At times, it could be a little friction heavy.
I understand.
But I think that they're gonna need to do that here too, because like we have the story of Aegon, but we have it in background, we have it in Fire and Blood, we have it in World of Ice and Fire. But there is going to be a lot of, we know he did that incredible deed. But what did he talk about when he was in the keep later that night? What were his? We know he had sister wives, but what were their actual personalities? We remember Visenya because of what Arya tells us about what she read or what was read to her by Maester Luwin. But like, we don't actually know what they're like, and all of that is where you want to get into the people behind mythology.
Yeah, you're right. I was gonna say like when we started this conversation, it's like I was honest in my saying I kind of forgot the show was in development or out there, and there's been so many changes in the slate and rumors, and how real was the Jon Snow show beyond Kit wanting to do it? Like we might never know, and it doesn't really matter until they show up. It wasn't I wasn't excited for the potential of the series, but you kind of get me excited for seeing this history that I am familiar with as a fan. And seeing it play out, not unlike some of the House of the Dragon stuff, where we're so familiar with that original text. But now there are blank spaces, which is why, again, is George involved? Of course, he's going to be involved in some way, shape, or form, and we'll see where that goes. As always, it sometimes changes with George. But I of course, when I'm there, because without a doubt, you're going to find, even though the Conquest is such a known story by us fans, book or not, that you're going to find so many blank spaces to play with. So Tomlin is one thing, but just the show existing, I think I'm more excited for it than I would have thought even 10 minutes ago.
I agree. Nah, I'm completely with you. This brief conversation has me already thinking, and like what I love about House of the Dragon is the stuff that they filled in. Like, of course, I like the big beats, but like when I think about House of the Dragon, I think about Rhaenyra and Alicent and like what they mean to each other and all that, and that's stuff that television brought to it. Alicent is a mean stepmom in Fire and Blood, and I don't mean to poo-poo it if you love that book. A lot of people do,
I do, yeah.
But she's a very two-dimensional antagonist in it. Whereas now we have this incredible Olivia Cook version. Whoever they cast, whoever they pick, it's like I don't know what it was like, for him and his sister wives. I don't know what it was like for Balerion, the Black Dread. I don't know what it was like for any of these people or places. So,
yeah, we'll finally get to hang with Balerion. Just hang out, know his thoughts.
That's honestly worth making the show just for that. To be honest, to see Balerion, the Black Dread, it is worth it.
The biggest dragon on screen. Well, that's a quick swing through some updated news on Aegon the Conqueror and that potential series. Of course, we'll swing back and update you on actual release dates. But if you have a thought on the series and what you might want from it, what you might expect, and what you think of Mattson Tomlin's involvement, you know what to do. Leave a comment down below. We'll see you next time here on Casterly Talk.